Right now, somewhere in a classified facility in Palmdale, California, engineers are building a drone that could completely reshape the future of aerial warfare. It's stealthy, it's lethal, and it's designed to fly into combat zones where even the most advanced fighter jets fear to tread. And here's the kicker. It costs a fraction of what a traditional fighter jet does, yet it's being built by the same secretive division that created the SR-71 Blackbird and the F-117 stealth fighter. Welcome to the world of the Lockheed Martin Vectis. In September 2025, Lockheed Martin's legendary Skunk Works division pulled back the curtain on something extraordinary. They unveiled the Vectis, a collaborative combat aircraft, or CCA for short, that represents a fundamental shift in how we think about air power. And when Skunk Works makes an announcement, the world pays attention. This is the division that operates in the shadows, creating the most advanced aircraft on the planet, often before anyone even knows they need them. The Vectis isn't just another drone. It's what defense experts call a Group 5 unmanned aerial system, which means it weighs more than 1,400 pounds and operates above 18,000 feet. But those technical specifications barely scratch the surface of what makes this aircraft revolutionary. Picture a sleek, jet-powered drone with a distinctive lambda-shaped wing. That's a wing design that looks almost like an inverted Y when viewed from above. It features a single dorsal air intake mounted on top of the fuselage, and its entire design screams stealth. O.J. Sanchez, the vice president and general manager of Skunk Works, described Vectis as the culmination of decades of expertise in complex systems integration, advanced fighter development, and autonomy. But what does that actually mean in practical terms? It means this drone can execute precision strikes, conduct intelligence surveillance and reconnaissance missions, perform electronic warfare operations, and engage in both offensive and defensive counter-air missions. It's essentially a Swiss Army knife of aerial combat capabilities, all packed into a platform that's designed to be affordable, customizable, and most importantly, survivable. And here's where things get really interesting. The Vectis is designed to fly alongside fifth-generation fighters like the F-35 and the F-22, and it will eventually team up with the sixth-generation aircraft currently under development, like the F-47. Imagine an F-22 pilot flying deep into hostile territory, commanding a team of 4 Vectis drones that fly ahead, detect enemy targets, and engage threats, all while the human pilot stays safely at a distance, acting as the quarterback of this autonomous squadron. The drones extend the reach of manned fighters, multiply their effectiveness, and take on the most dangerous tasks without putting human lives at risk. To understand why the Vectis matters, we need to talk about a problem that's been keeping Air Force generals up at night for years. The United States Air Force has been shrinking. Back in the 1990s, the service had significantly more aircraft than it does today. Modern fighters like the F-35 are technological marvels, but they come with eye-watering price tags. A single F-35 costs somewhere between $80 and $90 million. In some estimates for next-generation fighters put the price tag at $300 million per aircraft. At those prices, you simply can't buy enough jets to maintain air superiority against a near-peer adversary like China. What if I told you there's a fighter jet flying right now that can see threats before they see it, share battlefield intelligence across every military domain in real time, and penetrate enemy airspace that would be suicide for any other aircraft? Meet the F-35 Lightning II, and it's changing everything we thought we knew about air combat. The F-35 isn't just a fighter jet, it's a quarterback in the sky, a force multiplier that connects air, land, sea, space, and cyber operations. It combines stealth, advanced sensors, information fusion, and network connectivity, all within a supersonic, long-range, highly maneuverable platform. And here's the kicker. It can reach speeds of up to Mach 1.6, about 1,200 miles per hour. But speed is just the beginning. The F-35's stealth design allows it to safely enter areas that fourth-generation fighters simply cannot survive. Its advanced sensors give pilots a 360-degree view of the battle space, and that information doesn't stay locked in the cockpit. It's shared seamlessly across the entire joint force, turning every F-35 into a flying command center. With over 1,000 aircraft delivered globally, the F-35 has become the backbone of air power for the United States and its allies. It comes in three variants: the F-35A for conventional takeoff and landing, the F-35B for short takeoff and vertical landing, and the F-35C for aircraft carrier operations. And now this fifth-generation marvel is about to become even more powerful by commanding squadrons of autonomous drones in combat. This is the aircraft that will define air superiority for decades to come. So here's where the magic really happens. The F-35 Lightning II, already one of the most advanced fighter jets ever built, is about to become something even more powerful: the quarterback of an autonomous drone squadron. Enter the Collaborative Combat Aircraft Program. The Air Force's vision is ambitious, and frankly, it has to be. They're planning to acquire at least 1,000 CCAs and potentially many more, possibly as many as 5 CCAs for every crewed fighter in the fleet. The math is simple, but powerful. If you can build an autonomous drone that costs between $20 and $30 million and can perform many of the same missions as a manned fighter, you suddenly can afford to field the numbers you need to win in a contested environment. But this isn't just about numbers. It's about fundamentally changing how we fight. China has invested heavily in what military strategists call anti-access area denial capabilities. That's a fancy way of saying they've built sophisticated air defense systems with long-range missiles designed to keep American aircraft away from their territory. These systems pose a serious threat to traditional fighters. But what if you could send in a swarm of stealthy, expendable drones first? What if those drones could confuse enemy defenses, saturate their radar systems, and create so many targets that the enemy doesn't know what to shoot at? That's the future the Air Force is betting on. The Vectis enters this picture as Lockheed Martin's answer to a competition they actually lost. Yes, you heard that right. In April 2024, the Air Force selected two companies, Endural Industries and General Atomics Aeronautical Systems, to develop the first increment of CCAs. Lockheed, along with Boeing and Northrop Grumman, didn't make the cut. Why? Because Lockheed's initial proposal was reportedly too advanced, too stealthy, and too expensive for what the Air Force wanted in that first phase. They offered what industry insiders call a gold-plated solution when the Air Force was looking for something more affordable and rapidly fieldable. But here's where Lockheed's legendary Skunk Works culture comes into play. Rather than walk away, they went back to the drawing board. They developed something called the Agile Drone Framework, a design philosophy that prioritizes modularity, open systems, and rapid customization over any specific hardware configuration. The result is Vectis, a platform that Skunk Works believes delivers best-in-class survivability at a price point the Air Force can actually afford. And they're moving fast. Lockheed has committed to design, build, and fly the Vectis within 2 years of its announcement. Parts are already ordered, teams are already working, and the company is investing their own money to make it happen. Picture this scenario. An F-35 pilot is flying a mission deep into contested airspace. But they're not alone. Flying ahead of them are 4 to 8 Vectis drones, each one carrying weapons, sensors, and electronic warfare equipment. The pilot doesn't need to physically fly these drones. They control them through a simple touchscreen tablet mounted in the F-35's cockpit. This is the future of air combat, and Lockheed Martin is making it happen through something called Project Carrera. The system allows an F-35 pilot to manage multiple collaborative combat aircraft simultaneously while still flying their own jet. Think of it like commanding units in a video game, except the stakes are life and death and the technology is very real. Here's how the coordination works. The F-35 uses both Link 16, a widespread tactical data link, and its own stealthy multifunction advanced data link to communicate with the CCAs. These communication systems allow the pilot to issue commands, receive sensor data, and coordinate attacks, all while not compromising the F-35's stealth characteristics. Lockheed specifically designed the Vectis for seamless integration with the F-35, meaning the signature and communications are compatible with fifth-generation aircraft. In simulated operations, pairing F-35s with Vectis drones has produced impressive results, demonstrating how this human-machine teaming multiplies combat effectiveness. The tactical advantages are enormous. The Air Force plans to team 2 CCAs with each of approximately 300 F-35s, instantly doubling or tripling the combat power of the fleet. The drones can fly ahead to scout enemy positions, jam hostile radar systems, launch the first wave of attacks, or simply act as decoys, all while the human pilot stays at a safer distance, making the critical decisions. Lockheed has already demonstrated end-to-end connectivity, showing that an F-35 can control drones in flight using AI-enabled architectures. This isn't theoretical anymore, it's being tested right now. The company is investing heavily in this technology because they know the future belongs to whoever masters this kind of human-machine collaboration. This approach reflects Skunk Works' storied history of innovation under pressure. This is the same organization that in 1943 built America's first jet fighter in just 143 days. They created the U-2 spy plane, which could fly at 70,000 feet to photograph Soviet installations. They built the SR-71 Blackbird, which could cruise at over 2,000 miles per hour and 80,000 feet, speeds and altitudes so extreme that if a missile was fired at,
They built the SR-71 Blackbird, which could cruise at over 2,000 miles per hour and 80,000 feet. Speeds and altitudes so extreme that if a missile was fired at it, the standard evasive maneuver was simply to accelerate and outrun it. No SR-71 was ever shot down in combat. They created the F-117 Nighthawk, the world's first operational stealth fighter, which opened the Gulf War by striking targets in downtown Baghdad that were thought to be invulnerable. Now let's dig into what makes the Vectis special from a technical standpoint. First, there's the stealth capability. Lockheed is marketing this as delivering best in CCA class survivability, and that's not empty marketing speak. The company has decades of experience in signature reduction, making aircraft harder to detect on radar. The lambda wing design, the angular surfaces, the dorsal intake that hides the engine from certain radar angles, all of these features are deliberate choices meant to minimize the aircraft's radar cross-section. Skunk Works has conducted classified operational analysis, pairing simulated Vectis drones with F-22s and F-35s, and according to Sanchez, the results are impressive. Second, there's the range and endurance. The Vectis is designed with what Lockheed calls endurance ranges compatible with Indo-Pacific, European, and Central Command theaters. Translation: this drone can fly far enough and long enough to be useful in a potential conflict with China in the Pacific, support NATO operations in Europe, or conduct missions in the Middle East. That kind of versatility is crucial for a platform that needs to appeal to multiple customers and mission sets. Third, there's the weapons capability. While Lockheed hasn't released detailed specifications, promotional material suggests the Vectis features an internal weapons bay large enough to carry missiles like the AGM-88 HARM, an anti-radiation missile used to destroy enemy radar installations. The fact that weapons are carried internally rather than on external pylons is another stealth feature. External weapons create radar reflections and increase drag. Fourth, and perhaps most importantly, there's the open systems architecture. This is where Vectis really differentiates itself from traditional military aircraft. The drone is built to avoid what's called vendor lock-in, where you're stuck buying upgrades and modifications from a single manufacturer. Instead, Vectis aligns with government reference architectures, meaning it can integrate with systems from multiple vendors. Want to add a new sensor package? You can do that. Need to integrate a different communication system? The architecture supports it. This modularity is designed to keep costs down over the aircraft's lifetime and allow it to evolve as threats change. The Vectis is also designed for what the Air Force calls agile combat employment, the ability to operate from widely dispersed, potentially austere locations rather than large centralized air bases. This matters because modern missiles can destroy entire air bases, so the Air Force wants to spread out its assets. The Vectis is built with this in mind. It's runway dependent, meaning it needs a conventional runway to take off and land, but it's designed to be maintainable in deployed environments with simple, durable materials and easy access to internal systems if repairs are needed. Lockheed offers two variants tailored to different operational concepts. One version is optimized as a daily flyer, meaning it's built to reliably operate alongside crewed aircraft for regular training and deployment, flying frequently with minimal maintenance. The other variant prioritizes ease of storage and assembly, essentially a boxed system that can be unpacked and deployed when needed. This flexibility allows different customers to choose configurations that match their specific operational requirements and budgets. While the Vectis hasn't flown yet, Lockheed Martin isn't entering this market cold. The company has extensive experience with crew-to-uncrewed teaming capabilities through both classified and unclassified programs. They've conducted digital simulations, real-world flight testing, and hybrid experiments that blend virtual and physical testing. This experience feeds directly into Vectis development, reducing risk and accelerating the timeline. The competitive landscape is fierce. General Atomics has already begun flight testing its YFQ-42A, and Anduril's YFQ-44A is expected to fly shortly. Both companies are targeting the Air Force's first CCA increment with platforms that emphasize affordability and rapid production. But the Air Force has made it clear that the CCA program will have multiple increments, and companies that didn't win the first round can compete for subsequent phases. This means Lockheed, Boeing, and Northrop Grumman all have opportunities to get back in the game with more advanced offerings. Here's the ultimate question: will Vectis find customers? While Sanchez stopped short of saying Vectis would definitely be Lockheed's offering for CCA Increment 2, he strongly hinted that it would be a great candidate if the Air Force decides it needs a highly survivable platform with flexibility. Beyond the U.S. Air Force, the company is positioning Vectis for international customers and other U.S. military services. The Navy, for example, is developing its own CCA program, and allied nations are watching these developments closely. The broader implications are staggering. If the Vectis and other CCAs succeed, we're looking at a future where manned fighters command autonomous squadrons in combat, where a single human pilot coordinates multiple drones, each performing specialized tasks, where air forces can field affordable mass without breaking their budgets. This is the future that Lockheed Martin's Skunk Works is building, one drone at a time. By the end of this decade, when the first CCAs enter service, F-35 pilots will command drone wingmen as naturally as they currently manage their own weapon systems. The age of the lone fighter pilot is ending. The age of the fighter drone team is just beginning. If you enjoy understanding the tech that's changing the future of warfare, from autonomous fighters to hypersonic weapons, make sure to hit subscribe and turn on the bell icon. Because here at One Good Fact, we don't just follow the headlines, we decode them.